The Russian army destroyed the first American Abrams tank in Ukraine. Fake news with this headline appeared in Russian publics at the end of January. The fact that there are simply no Abrams tanks in service with the armed forces of Ukraine did not bother the authors of the disinformation, just like the green tree in the photo allegedly taken in January. Russians already found Leopard tanks in Ukraine too. A post in Telegram that allegedly there are 2 German vehicles on the territory of Mykolaiv armored plant was published by one of the propagandists on January 23rd. That is, even before the decision of the Bundestag to transfer tanks to Ukraine. Leopards from Germany should arrive in Ukraine in March, as well as the British Challengers, and it will take several months for the transfer of the Abrams from the United States. The first Western-style tank for Ukraine was sent by Canada. On February 6, Canadian Defense Minister Anita Anand announced that one of the 4 promised Leopard 2 had arrived to Poland. The Polish government said that Russian propaganda deliberately launched a campaign to discredit Western support for Ukraine.
In response to the West's decision to deliver tanks, including the Leopards and Abrams, to Ukraine, Russian propaganda has launched multidirectional information warfare activities aimed at discrediting this new wave of support. Russia is using the reports about the supplies of heavy military equipment to Ukraine to solidify and give more credibility to the so-called myth of a besieged fortress, a persistent propagandist term for the threat purportedly posed by the West to Russia. Stanislav Zharin, government plenipotentiary for the security on information space of the Republic of Poland, on Twitter.
One of the key goals of the Russian information campaign is to convince the Russians that Western-style tanks will allegedly not help Ukraine, but will be completely destroyed by Russia. At the same time, the propagandists refer to the data of the Danish Defense Academy, where they allegedly talk about this. However, this is manipulation.
In fact, the cited material does not say anything about the fact that Western tanks will not help Ukraine at all, and even more so, there are no statements that all of them will be destroyed by Russia. The Danish expert only says that their importance should not be overestimated and that they can play their role during the Ukrainian counteroffensive. This is another manipulation of the Kremlin based on an article in a foreign publication, from a publication on the website of the Stop Fake project.
By producing such texts, Moscow is trying to disrupt the supply of equipment, primarily modern tanks. After all, it has nothing to oppose them on the battlefield.
It can be argued that the Russian army is not ready to counter Western armored vehicles. The only competitor for modern Western tanks remains the T-14 Armata. However, this tank is not mass-produced, primarily due to problems with engines that stall even during rehearsals for parades on Red Square. In particular, the Minister of Defense of the Russian Federation, Shoigu, recognized the production of the T-14 planned for 2022 only as a pilot industrial batch. In fact, against ultra-modern tanks, Shoigu has only T-72 and a small number of T-90, which are inferior to all models and modifications of tanks provided by the West. From a publication on the website of the Center for Combating Disinformation under the National Security and Defense Council of Ukraine.
The campaign to discredit the weapons provided to Ukraine is designed not only for the domestic Russian audience, but also for Western consumers, media experts say. As conceived by the Kremlin, it should sow doubts about the advisability of military assistance, but decisions on providing tanks have already been made. Now, as the Minister of Defense of Ukraine, Oleksiy Reznikov, stated, the possibility of delivering fighter jets to Ukraine is being discussed. Reported by Serhiy Kulas, Valeria Nekopelova, UATV News.